Hey, we're live. It's the Redeye stream number 187. Yeah, the real Frankenstein. That stupid Transylvania movie's on in the background. My apologies. Okay, my internet's going in and out, you guys. So if I drop off, I might have to grab my cell phone to rescue it. But Straight Sith Mail, you had something you want to talk about to open the show. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was talking about the Zulu, the Zulu tribe. The king of the Zulu is actually standing with the Bora, or the white South Africans, which
Yeah,
is amazing because I didn't see that coming at all.
you didn't see that coming at all. Why didn't you
Did
see that coming?
you, MC? Did you see the Zulu standing up for the
Yeah, I saw
for
the
the?
Zulu at some point in time standing up against the government because the Zulu, you got to understand, the Zulu are just one of the ethnic tribes, and they are a very proud tribe, granted, but
Yeah,
they're not really part of the ANC. And the
yeah.
ANC are a communist movement, which eventually steps on the toes of anybody not them.
Okay. All right. Well, MC, you usually know more about politics than me, and I'm not gonna
Well,
disagree with that.
when the ANC took over, all right, one of their biggest proponents was the Zulus saying, "Okay, we're a part of, we'll agree with what's going on now." All right. However, they made it very clear, all right, that their writ was was very limited as far as the Zulu were concerned, because
Yeah,
the Zulu, do have the largest single minority. They're a minority of the entire country, but they're the largest single minority within the African South African.
what country they are the Zulu tribe? Is the Zulu tribe South African?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a South. Yes, go ahead,
Okay, okay,
Jensen. You were going to make
I
a
got you.
comment.
No, I was actually just agreeing. Yes, they are very much a South African thing, but they're also incredibly powerful there.
Yes, they are a significant part of the country, but they are not the. There is not one tribe that has the complete power of the country. Does that make sense from a
Yes,
majority standpoint?
that makes absolute sense. And a lot of people, what a lot of people fuck up is they forget that Africa is a continent. It's not a country.
Yes.
Well, I would fucking hope people think that.
Surprise, mate. That's the country.
Some people are that stupid that they think that fucking Africa is a continent, is a country. Sorry.
God forbid
Well-
I ever meet those people.
Well, my question though is this: if the Zulus are going to back the white farmers, and the white farmers end up having to go to war, are the Zulus going to war?
Yes.
That is a good question. I have no clue, Dodge. All I saw was an article.
Well, the
And from
question,
that article, I gathered that the Zulu nation stands behind the board, the white farmers.
well, it
Because
becomes
they saw what happened in Zimbabwe. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, MC, but they saw what happened in Zimbabwe. So they don't want to see the farmers die out because that would mean the food would die out. But continue.
yes, and then that's exactly what it comes down to. You got to remember, all right, first of all, there's a number of things that are going on here. Right? First of all, a lot of the land that the Boers had was that they took
Yes,
at the
because
time was
of
regarded as
goddamn it, the apartheid.
well, it wasn't because of not necessarily because of apartheid. The land that the Boers settled on was considered no man's land because nobody could make a living from it. Okay,
Oh,
modern
not know.
modern technology, of course, changes all that. The fact that you can irrigate, the fact that you can create, modern farming techniques where you couldn't farm before, all right, changes that dynamic dramatically, all right. And so areas that the African tribes didn't care about and said, okay, well, think about it from this perspective. How were the Boer ever able to settle there if the tribes didn't want them to settle there? Well, it's very simple. They didn't care about it. The reason they didn't care about it is from their perspective, this was infertile land. This was not land that you could had any merit to it, right? That you had any means to it. Well, using modern farming techniques, of course, you can make this useful. You can make this land fertile. It's the same kind of attitude that you had in the United States, in the plain states, called the plain states, Nebraska.
Okay, so NC, I was having an argument with somebody earlier, and they were talking about reservations.
Okay.
All right. My God family are Native American. I grew up with them. We grew up. We hunted together. We killed deer. And
did you do that alongside Elizabeth Warren? Was she helping you out?
No, asshole. God damn it. Fuck
Yeah,
you,
no.
NC.
No, and does
No,
like
I'm just kidding.
one part of her count as freaking worth $1 million? Like, did Trump really lose this bet? Because I bet you I have more.
The bet wasn't that she was Indian. The bet was, I'll give you $1 million if you do a DNA test.
Okay,
Oh,
so
what an
she
idiot.
did do the DNA test, but did you guys see the like it was something that like there might have been a Indian in the wood pile, maybe somewhere, but we don't know.
Content.
I say Trump just writes a fucking check to Planned Parenthood because that's where she's gonna be. Like, oh, that's the charity I want it.
I actually agree with you, Dodge. I agree with you. He shouldn't just go ahead and write the check because he said it. He said the bet.
He said that if she takes the DNA test, not if the results were there. He said if he would do it if she took the DNA test. Since he said that, he needs to pay up.
Yes, and I agree with both of you 100%. Yeah, pay up, motherfucker. You lost a bet.
By the way, I will totally take a DNA test for $1 million, and I don't want it going to charity. I could use a new house.
The charity is me.
Yeah.
In all fairness,
Blame you for that, not one bit. And also, a lot of these fuckers don't realize, $1 million really is not a lot of money.
Yeah, but still,
I'm gonna shove that lightsaber right up your ass if you say that again.
Fuck you.
Since it's not a lot of money, you have some to spare, right? You want to give me one?
Yeah. Hey, by the way, perfect time to show my Patreon and my Streamlabs, right?
Anyway, back to the original thing with South Africa. Yes, the thing is that everyone, the problem with Americans look at Africans as being the same way, unfortunately, especially the liberals in this country, that they see them here in the United States, which is they're all one collective. They all think alike. They're all a group. Well, that's nonsense. It's never been true. It wasn't true back then. It's not true now. When you talk about South Africans, though, if you take a look at how liberals talk about them, all the South Africans are either black or white. There's not tribes. There's not things. They don't understand the South African politics in any way, shape, or form. All right, all they were doing was supporting the leftist movement. And believe me, if the apartheid movement was leftist, you would not have seen any of those assholes in the 70s and the 80s saying a friggin' word. But because the ANC was a leftist movement, they supported it.
Yeah, and the thing is also when it comes to South Africa, it's not just politics anymore. These people are being murdered. All right.
Well, yeah, that's part of politics, isn't it? But just aggressive politics.
Well, that's kind of terrorism.
Hang on. You heard it here first, everybody. Hitler didn't cause a war. He was just having aggressive politics.
Damn it, I was going to make that joke.
War is aggressive politics. What are you talking about? It's not diplomatic. It's politics via non-diplomatic means. Right?
I'm so fucking mad at you right now, voice. I wanted to say that so fucking bad.
I mean, I wasn't thinking about politics when I got blown the fuck up in Iraq. Just saying.
Yeah, but the people ordering you there were thinking about the political landscape.
Sorry, but you weren't blown up. You lost the vote.
No, something that really pissed me off was the NPCs. I mean, the SJWs. I love that new term, don't you?
that's what we should refer to them as NPCs?
NPCs,
Yeah, we
yeah.
should. Because fuck them.
No, I mean, I'm
political
so
correct characters. Yes, I like that.
I'm more flabbergasted at the fact that they're trying to ban it under the guise of, banning dehumanization or something like that on Twitter. Like that's amazing.
You know what? Speaking of dehumanization, that segues right into the first story I wanted to talk about. So I guess last election, Colorado tried to get the wording of one of its constitution changed, where it says slavery is prohibited unless you are found guilty of a crime. So I guess you could still be a slave in Colorado. And they're trying again to get rid of the slavery wording there. Is this just them fixing a fuck up, or are they really embarrassed about this as a state?
No, it's something that's quite necessary, actually. If you're going to sit up there and tell people that are incarcerated that they have to work, okay, they are slaves. By definition, they're slaves.
Yeah,
So if
I
you
agree.
want work gangs working on the roads, trying to clean up the roads or anything else, if you want them, working in a mill or producing license plates or doing whatever the hell else you want them to do, and they're incarcerated and you're telling them what to do, then what you're doing is you're saying they're slaves. So if you change that wording effectively, you are basically ending any kind of work program immediately.
Okay,
And
so-
you feel that's a good thing, or should these people, as part of their rehabilitation, be made to actually know how to work in a job environment?
If it was up to me, they would frickin' be working just to make sure that it provided frickin' oxygen for everyone else in the prison. I would have them on frickin' things that was pumping oxygen into the places that they live, and if they decide that they want to stop, oh well, new set of prisoners.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I mean,
but isn't that slavery then? Because right now they at least get paid something. Something goes on their books so they can fucking get commissary or what have you.
Dodge. It's not slavery. It's the fact that, you know what, you got to contribute something to society. And you know what? I don't give a shit if and most of the time, hold on. Before anybody starts getting mad, most of the fucking time, you volunteer to do said work in prison.
Yeah, and in this case, in my prison, you can volunteer not to sit up there and breathe.
I'm glad you're not.
There's also another part in there where they're trying to, not just the slavery aspect, but the involuntary servitude, and that could also, be covered about community service. So they got a lot of faith in their population that the things that you go to community service for are just going to be handled by the average Joe.
I'm looking at the chat here, and Dade says, if it were up to me, they'd all be back on the chain gangs fixing the roads. We have dominoes for that now. Haven't you heard?
Yeah, how many people's Domino's roads have been fixed? Has anybody seen Domino's fix a road near them?
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen them in Oregon yet. And I can't get delivery right out here.
No.
Wait a minute. I live in the fucking 60 miles from town. You think they're going to deliver out here? No.
They sure as hell should.
But I've seen their commercials, and it says, if your road's messed up, tell us, and we might, it might be the next one on our list.
We might fix your road. We won't. But we might fix your road.
But it's just like mad. Their pizza's shit. Do you trust them to make roads? Like, come on, dude.
They fix the potholes much better than they make the pizza. I think they should just go into the pothole business.
Anybody that tries to fix the potholes out here would be doing it better. I'm sorry for voice. Go ahead.
No, but basically how that's going to work is wherever they're getting the most orders, that's the roads they're going to fix.
Yep.
I mean, they have to have some. Why not? It's just a secondary purpose for the pizzas that they sell. I mean, what difference does it make?
Well, no, Voice, you're right, but I don't see your point. Of course, that's the roads they're going to fix.
Yeah, but no,
the fattest stuff. Road repair, pizza.
Yeah, but you're not paying your road tax. I'm not paying my gas tax to Domino's. They're doing this shit fucking pro bono. So, yeah, they're going to have a priority.
They're not doing it pro bono. They're getting something from somewhere. No one does nothing for free.
He's right.
When it comes to the roads, why don't we just all go after? Well, do like that guy Wanksy, who was just drawing dicks for over the potholes. The city's fucking clean that shit up real quick.
Oh, painting dicks on the thing. I'm not enough of an artist.
I like the dolls' heads that they were putting in, and that was kind of funky.
So basically, there was a bunch of potholes in some city, and this dude would just go around and draw a giant dick and spray paint around the pothole. Well, all those potholes got fixed in a matter of like 2-3 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got an idea here. We'll go back to AMC's prison idea. Only this time we'll use the prisoners to fill in the potholes.
Let's go back to the Caligula days. Look, we can plant one here.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, in fact, you deal with the prisoner problem as well as the road problem, so it has got possibilities.
Well, you don't want them inside. I mean, you don't want them incarcerated, right?
Exactly.
We'll just plant them in various places.
We could, put 4 of them in a road and call them speed bumps.
Exactly. No driving over 15 miles an hour.
There's plenty of,
And they'll have a job. They can sit up there and tell you who ran over them too quickly.
Now, depending on the offense, does that count for like how many points you get per hit?
How long you have to stay down there? How many people drive over you? You have to have a point system though. So if somebody uses a tractor trailer, that's extra points.
All right, so I'm going to connect 2 stories together here. So the first one is Robert De Niro says he's offended by Trump's behavior. He said that during the premiere of his Sunday night of ABC's Alec Baldwin show. Oh God, ABC, you did that? That's dumb. Okay, and the second one is this one is Alec Baldwin. We need to overthrow the government, he says in New Hampshire. Fresh off his first appearance of the season as President Trump on Saturday Night Live, after Alec Baldwin headlined the New Hampshire Democratic Party's inaugural Eleanor Roosevelt dinner Sunday night at the Manchester Hotel, and he said that we need to overthrow the government. Okay, Robert De Niro, that's not. You could be offended all you want, buddy. I'm sure a lot of people were offended by some of the movies you were in. Anyway, Alec Baldwin, though, overthrow the government, and then other Democrats coming out saying, we need to not be nice to Republicans anymore. When were you ever nice? Last I checked, you guys were punching people and robbing people. So what's going on? Is this our politics now, MC? Is this what we boiled it down to?
Yes.
I'm sorry, the last time I checked, fucking Robert De Niro is a punk that thinks he's a Goomba, which he's not. You're not a fucking gangster. You're not part of that Italian crowd. Shut the fuck up, dude. Sorry, that was a bit of a rant.
Well, he was good in those movies, but, whatever.
Yeah. So was Joe Pesci, but honestly, Dodge, would you be scared of Joe Pesci?
I'd laugh at his midget ass. I'm sorry. Unless he had a baseball bat. Then I might be worried.
I would just like to ask, what do you call him, Robert De Niro, one question. How far does he think he's going to get against the 101st Airborne? If he wants to try and overthrow the government.
Dodge, you're 6'2". I am 5'4". I would stab you rather than get punched in the face.
Well, you overestimated me by 2 inches. I'm 6 feet, but I'm 6 feet and like 230. And
yeah, but I'm a manlet, bro. I'm a tiny dude, and I carry a knife everywhere.
Well, keep that in mind. If I'm in New Mexico, I'm carrying my gun.
Fair enough.
You said you were Mexican. At 5'4", are you sure you're not a leprechaun?
Well, I am part Irish, so.
Oh, there we go. There's the proof.
Well, then you're related to the freighter because she was saying that she thinks she's related somewhere down the line to leprechauns.
No.
And earlier in the chat,
Irish.
one of my earlier
Sorry,
chats,
I just had to have fun with it because Dodge is definitely taller than me.
Is this part of the politics? This has been what people don't know is they've been saying this kind of stuff for a long time. It's just been.
I thought it was all the right wing that always said it, though, right? It was always.
You're becoming aware of it. No, the right wing has not been saying this kind of stuff like the left.
I was saying what the Democrats point out, though. Like they said, the Tea Party were extremists. Look at Antifa. Really? Like, look at Antifa. Come on now, the Tea Party. They're out there waving flags.
This is what the liberal media has always been doing. For crying out loud, but. They were saying that Reagan was going to sit there and start World War III, and they believed it to the point where you had a U.S. senator who was saying, "I'll work with you, Russia, to make sure that we rein in this evil president." Okay, this is not a joke, folks. This is who they've always been. People just ignored when this has been being pointed out by right wing commentators how unhinged the average leftist has been, and I'm saying the average leftist because. Nancy Pelosi, Ted Kennedy, all right, they were all the average leftists. Okay? The Steny Hoyers would constantly do the same thing except for, well, on abortion I disagree, but of course I don't vote that way. All right? It was all a charade. It's always been this way. All these people, it's like listening to Styx tell me in the 1980s, oh, the 1980s, they're the average Democrat leadership. That's not what they were like. Yeah, it is. There's no difference than what they are today.
MC, you, my friend, are absolutely right. I remember being a kid and hearing this shit. And my dad being like, what the fuck? And no, you're 100% correct, dude.
They just would hide. The press would just hide their really insane rhetoric. People wouldn't hear what Hillary Clinton would say at those meetings. Do you think Hillary Clinton is any different today than she was back in the 80s when her husband in the 70s or the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s, right, when her husband was president? No.
Well, no, probably not. But we have a Clinton story that we're going to touch on, so we'll talk more about her in a minute. But can De Niro actually get a visit by the Secret Service here? He didn't threaten the president, per se, but he did do a call for action, right? A violent overthrow of the United States government.
Did he have? Did they really show up at his house? Because that kind of sounds like bullshit.
Well,
I didn't say they did. I said should they?
They will show up at Alec Baldwin's
house. Should they?
No.
They
will interview. Yes. No, they will. The Secret Service will pay him a visit.
You think so?
Yep. Alec Baldwin, sure. De Niro, no. Baldwin, yes. Calling for the overthrow of the government is going to get you investigated.
Yeah, I guess you do have a point there, MC.
If it's not even the Secret Service, it could even be like the FBI or some sort of law enforcement like that.
Yes, I agree.
I think it'd be better, the CIA paid him a visit, and we read in the newspaper the next day that Alec Baldwin fell down the stairs to his death.
Alec Baldwin was determined to sit up there and find out what was really going on in Turkey, so he flew to the Saudi embassy, right there, and said, "I want to see what's in," and he's never come out.
I don't understand this fucking nonsense of I'm sorry, a movie star, I can't take you seriously. A rock star, I'm not going to take you fucking seriously. Get the fuck out of my face with your politics.
Well, I think they have the right to speak about it, especially if it's not, like he was at a Democratic meeting or whatever. But, I mean...
No doubt. Of course they have a right to speak about it, but sometimes it annoys the shit out of me.
If you're calling for the overthrow of the government, that's I don't care where you're at. I don't care if you're in the DNC convention. If they were cheering him, I would investigate every frickin' person that was there.
Well, no, and and he has a large platform and a lot of money. He could actually not be a real threat, but he could finance a threat, right?
What do you mean he can't be a real threat? How tough is it, do you think, to create an overthrow to the government, especially when you've got people inside the government already trying to work toward that?
I don't know. What do you think, 40? You've been quiet for a few minutes.
To be honest, I don't think anything of that caliber is ever going to happen. Because, I mean, I think one thing to look at specifically is the comments that some of the Democrats have been making about how they have to be more aggressive and they're going to ramp up their tactics and everything along those lines. But, I mean, have they not already been ramping up their tactics? I mean, just look at Kavanaugh's situation. You know, if they really did try, they tried to get Kavanaugh, they tried to basically block his election to the Supreme Court with all kinds of wild accusations. You know, first it was rape by a Democratic activist, nonetheless. Then it was gang rape. And then it was, oh, well, you know, moralistically, you know, in a moralistic fashion, Kavanaugh's a bad person because he gets drunk and, you know, throws ice at his friends at parties and shit like that. So it's this constant downward spiral that ultimately ends up in a mudslinging competition, essentially. And they tried.
The mudslinging is over, dude. You don't
Oh,
think
I know.
This is violent. You're sadly mistaken.
No,
they are
well,
calling
it's
for a
already
violent
violent.
overthrow.
I'm not changing the subject here. I just got a breaking news alert on my phone. Microsoft's co-founder Paul Allen is dead at 65. Maybe we won't get any more Windows updates. That'd be nice.
Oh, darn. No more hit pieces funded by Microsoft about the YouTube Alternative Influencer Network? Gosh darn it. That's too bad. I was really looking forward to the next one.
I want to be on the list. Like that little diagram they made. Like, come on. Hook me up.
Oh, yeah.
I was somewhat disappointed.
Yeah, I read that thing actually front to back, and I had a little presentation prepared, but it was already too late. Let me tell you, it actually genuinely sounds like a crazy person wrote it. Like, just looking at the spider graph, it's pretty telling, but if you actually read the thing, it's kind of funny.
What made me laugh about it more than anything else was listening to Tim Pool bitch about the fact that he was on it.
Oh, yeah.
I did chuckle at that, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, gosh, who is he? He was like inadvertently connected to like Jared Taylor or something like that by like 2 or 3 degrees. Oh my gosh, man.
Are you guys with me that Tim Pool is kind of... He's kind of a wimp.
Kind of?
No, come on.
Oh, more than kind of. That dude is a fucking wimp.
MC, Tim Pool is awesome and you're wrong.
No, I am not wrong. Tim Pool is a wimp.
Come
I'm
on,
sorry,
MC. I want to see you triggered. Come on. Go nuts.
Limp-wristed little motherfucker that...
Can you imagine Voice actually seriously making that kind of a comment? The fact that he's even attempting it, it's just like, okay. Nice try. Please try again.
You rung me up the other day and said you were a cunt. Come on.
Oh, did you guys see that Sargon is tripling down on his fucking Gamergate 2.0? He was hanging out with me and talking about it. Like, he's fucking really going all in on this. Let's revive Gamergate bullshit.
Why? That shit's dead. Trump is... He wants Trump to talk about it. Trump has already talked about it. He talks about fake news all the time. That was the Gamergate thing.
Christ almighty.
Integrity in journalism.
And besides, all the cool kids are participating in Comicsgate, so fucking old man Boomer needs to step up his game.
Exactly. What the fuck?
Yeah. What do you mean I've got to break out my comics again?
Yes,
get off my lawn, you freaking little freaking hippies.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, MC. You got to break out the old Spider-Man comics. We have to fight the SGWs now.
MC's so old, he has to break out the radio programs.
Well, no, no, and Calvin and Hobbes doesn't
gotta
count
break
MC.
out those fucking clay tablets. I'm sorry, MC. I'm just kidding.
But no, I saw it was posted in my Discord. The short little clip where it does look like Sargon's doing a line of coke. Like, he goes barely off camera, puts his head down towards the desk, snorts, comes up and then rubs his thumb across his nose and continues on. And he's, doing that. So,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dodge. But yes, it did look like he was doing cocaine. I know this because I've done cocaine myself.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Yeah, it looked like he's doing coke.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I myself have actually shot snot rockets, and I've had the very same effects. So, just saying.
Oh, so you think he was shooting a snot rocket into his garbage can? That's classy. That's UKIP material right there.
I've done it. Yeah.
I don't mean to laugh, but that's fucking funny.
But no, I mean, he is doing coke. That explains everything.
No, I don't think he's doing coke.
I actually honestly do not think he's doing cocaine, but it definitely looks like it.
I mean, it would be funny, but I don't think he can afford to do it with his lawsuits and his many trips to the U.S.
He does fly to the United States a lot.
That's how I could afford it.
Yeah, but is somebody flying him here?
I'm not sure. I know Memes got to meet him or whatever in Boston. So he was at that little free speech rally, and it wasn't even that big of a rally. So, I mean, he's coming over here quite a bit.
Actually, he makes a large amount of money on tickets for his various little visitations. So it doesn't surprise me flying all over the bloody place.
Really? I actually did not know that.
Yeah, no, he charges quite a bit of freaking money for some of his shows, I'll tell you that.
Really? God damn it. Because I had a plan a while ago. I was going to buy a ticket for Voice, and I was going to send him out there just to call Sargon a cunt for me.
That'd be great. Hey, I got a question, Mr. Akkad. Mr. Akkad.
So basically, you're
40
trying to
out says you're a fucking cunt. And donate to Matt Dodge's Patreon.
Be polite like that. I just stand up and say, "Hey, Sargon, you're a cunt."
Which is, you see, that's the attitude. That's why I chose you and not Cabbage. That's the attitude I'm looking for.
If I had money to give people Patreon shekels, I would give Styx, Hex, and Hammer a super chat and tell them, put on a shirt! What the fuck is wrong with you, hippie?
Did you see him sit up there and cover up for the winter? I mean, I would have more respect for him if he'd have said, well, it's cold outside. Look at these nips. I'm proud of this shit. Come on, you polar bear, man. What the hell, man? Oh, no, it's cold outside. Let me put my sweater on. Okay. I'm okay now.
Let's be honest.
That was a faggoty-ass sweater, too. I'm sorry. Am I allowed to say faggoty in 2018? I don't know.
Yes, boss. You're allowed to say it.
No, Styx is someone who at the weekend is called stapping it. Let's be honest here. I mean, the skinny body, the long hair. I mean, fuck's sake, he could be the brother of just Riley Dennis.
Oh, damn.
Now that's below the belt. Even I think that was a bit vicious.
And that's why we've done Voice.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So, looking here, I got something.
We'll get below the belt, then nut shot. Kicking the balls. Oh God.
Okay, so the decimation of Tyndall Air Base, Air Base's F-22 fleet could have a real big implication in our air arsenal. There was 17 F-22 Raptors there, and they might be fucked after the hurricane came through. MC, how bad will that hurt our air presence?
It won't.
It won't?
No. Yeah, have you seen all the militaries?
Do you know how much the F-22 costs?
Do you know how much somebody pocketed?
Fair enough. Were they made by Boeing or whatever?
It's
or what?
Amazing things that, oh yeah, it was destroyed in the hurricane, come right off the books.
And then suddenly Israel has some new F-22s, right?
Hey, MC, any chance I could buy you one of them ruined ones, at an auction? I'll take it second hand.
No, I'm sorry, boys, but they don't give those to poor little people from Ireland.
Yeah,
Hey,
you got to be.
little people.
Hey,
You fucking
he's
American
not.
prick.
He's not little. God
It's
damn
called racist. Get it right.
it.
You racist American prick. No, I'm sorry. You Jewish racist American prick.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Believe me, MC, if I thought you were Jewish, you'd already be in the oven.
That's right. Forgot to say shalom to you. Oh, yes. Shalom.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
are you saying that they're probably not ruined? They're just dropping off the books, and we're going to end up selling them to Israel or Saudi Arabia or the UAE,
No, I wouldn't
somebody
say
like
that. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't deny it. I wouldn't say it.
Okay, so that's MC's tacit agreement of yes, it is definitely going to happen then.
I mean, come on, man. All you have to do is, purge your air the inside a bit, and, bit coat of paint, and good as new.
Let's see. Let's leave $200 million aircraft in an empty freaking base.
Why
that we
did they
already
do
evacuated all the people on. No, we would never do something like that and come back and go, oh yeah, they were destroyed. It's horrible. Do appropriations.
I mean, really, all you have to do is like dip them in some rice for a few hours, and they're good as new. Fucking sell them. I mean, come on, sell them to the French. They're not going to know any better.
No, I don't want the French to have them. Let's give them to Germany, and they don't need a stealth fighter. No, thank you.
Good point. It's practically German at that point.
I'm gonna tell you another little secret. You know what happens when the United States actually tries to give Germany aircraft?
What's that?
They crash them.
Are you kidding me?
Their pilots hit the ground at rates no one else is able to even match. Even the British were like, why the hell are they always crashing?
That's because the Americans are protecting the wrong side of the console.
Wait, did they go out for a cocktail at lunch?
We gave them literally hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of F-104 starfighters. Okay? They have the highest rate of crash of anybody. And I personally think it's because before they get on there, they have a pint or two before they climb on in.
Yeah. Well, no, they're just practicing to be kamikazes. I mean, you got to get your practice laps.
Right. I was reading about their readiness ratios, and they're like, we can't understand why they keep crashing. It's like, I don't know, maybe
that's why.
Try not to fly drunk? I don't know. I mean, no one else is having these freaking problems.
Maybe that's the same reason half their Leopard tanks don't fucking work.
That is another thing. Everyone talks about how great their Leopard tanks are. Yeah, when they're operational, like only 2 or 3% are.
Yeah, the others are in the shop because they keep hitting trees and shit. Oh my gosh, man! Why did the Germans used to be so good?
Pilots are immigrants, and they're just test running.
Yeah. Hey, Ahmed, I got this plane here. You want to test it out?
I do know also that when we sold the, once upon a time we had a system called the Hawk missile system, which is an anti-aircraft system, and we sold it to the Saudi Arabians. And the Saudi Arabians came back and said, we can't hit anything with these. So we walked over there and sent our advisors over to say, okay, how are you shooting these things? And they're like, okay. They fly it and they say, see, we fire the missile, and then it doesn't hit it. I said, that's because when it goes into this little circle here that turns red, you're supposed to press the red button to blow it up and get everything in the area. Oh, that's what that's for.
You're fucking. Did you try turning it off and back on again?
God, what the fuck is with these third world nations and not knowing how to like wage warfare?
Well, because they believe that there's no training involved. You just fire and forget. It's the American equipment that's better than them, not the Americans themselves. No,
Well,
we're better than
Germans
you. I'm
planes,
channeling my inner Sarkeesian. I'm better than you. Okay? We have a better military than you. We don't just sit around and then die on order. That's not how it works.
Oh, so we're not Russian. Okay.
No, we're not Russian either. The Russians, believe it or not, the Russians train really, really hard. It's just they train for they They train to die. For lack of a better term.
That's great. Tim in the chat says the system was running on Windows Vista. I would say Windows 10 and it needed an update.
Oh, Jesus.
But yes, a well-tuned Hawk system is actually pretty damn freaking impressive. It will actually take out a modern generation non-stealth fighter very, very effectively.
If white people use it.
No, I didn't say that.
40, are you saying brown people are too stupid to use white things?
And hey, MADDS, you did plan on monetizing this, right?
Well,
weren't you up for monetization? Isn't that they were looking at as they were trying to see whether they wanted to make you a partner?
Yeah, I'm under review. Yeah, the review should go well. I'm optimistic.
Sorry, I didn't know you were trying to make partner doodle.
No one gives a shit. It's all good. I just want that super chat back. Damn it.
Give me back my super chat. My $2.
Yeah,
give me back my $2.
Yeah, exactly. I want my shekels, bitches. Hurry the fuck up. But that F-22 is actually a pretty impressive aircraft. I just you're right. Why the fuck would they just leave them there? That sounds stupid. You have pilots at this airbase, right? Is there a airbase, close by that you could fly them to? Come on now.
They flew frickin' how many of them out? There were 55 stationed there. They flew frickin', over half of them out, supposedly.
Oh, okay.
The ones who were there for maintenance or some other reason, supposedly. Now, does anybody believe that? I don't.
Yeah. Insurance scam. That's all it is.
This is a way to get things off the books that you have to come back. You can come back later and say, "Oh, look what we discovered." It's also a way of routing them to an area that other people don't know while they're still under our control, and then go, "Surprise, dickhead! Guess you weren't looking for these, were you?" Oh,
that makes me wonder how many invisible aircraft carriers we actually have in around the world.
We've had aircraft carriers that were supposed to be submersible for a long time.
Are you kidding me?
No, he's not.
Oh my god, I want to look this up. That's like some Avengers shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Talk to the British.
Yeah, Jensen, tell me more, sir.
We've known about that for a little while, mate. I'm surprised you didn't know. This is a bit of a shock to me, I'll be honest with you.
Oh my god, they look cool.
Yeah.
That's also a really terrifying thought. I'm just gonna say that.
Could you imagine Iran tries to shut down the strait and then suddenly a fucking aircraft carrier group fucking comes out of the fucking water and fucking lays waste to their little blockade?
Here's the thing. I just want to bring up one word. The Titanic. Just throwing it out there.
Hey, we can go under the fucking iceberg. Got me? Come on now.
Is that really what it's called? It's called a CVS 101 Prometheus Super... Wait, hold on. Prometheus Semi-Submersible Attack Aircraft Carrier. Holy fuck.
They tried that and it didn't work at all. It was a bad idea.
Yeah, they tell everybody that. Oh yeah, it's a bad idea. We ended the programs. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Don't look for that.
Gee.
I'm not gonna lie.
Let's have a submarine that flies.
Oh,
if we're going to go, do things backwards, let's go the whole hog.
A submarine that flies, isn't that like a bomber? Wouldn't that just be like a B-17?
We could fit a couple, of 50mm cannons on the front of an F-15 and call it a tank.
Yeah,
I don't.
I was about to say, guys, what if we could drive tanks underwater? How awesome would that be?
No. No.
That has the problem of, to be honest, the problem with driving the things under the water is the treads in mud.
But it's in water, so it's lighter. You
So
can
it's
just lift it
under
up.
the water. Now it's in mud, stuck. I can't.
Well, yeah.
It's Charlie's job to go push, right?
Okay, fine. Flying tanks then. How about flying tanks, MC? Hover tanks.
Well, if you like flying tanks, you look at the C-130 and what they did to that back in the Vietnam War. That was a flying tank. Let's be honest.
Well, we did have Spectres, yes.
Right. I'm
We-
sorry.
The
You
modern
meant
term, the
100,000 more
colloquial term for them is puffs, but yes, we did basically create.
Okay, so semi-submergible. So this thing barely goes under the water, right?
What's
Yeah.
the purpose of putting it under the water?
To hide it.
Yeah,
Very
to
good.
hide it.
Doesn't leave a radar signature, does it?
No, but you can ping it.
How many? If you're all you're doing is pinging everywhere, okay, you can't hear shit.
Yeah, but but Mad Dodge, you can't ping it if it kills you.
Well, it has to come above the water to launch an aircraft. An aircraft would have to be below deck, right?
Well, then we're just gonna have to make submersible planes. I hate to tell you, man.
Planes don't need to land on the it can surface for a very short period of time. How long are you going to be able to look at it?
No, you see, the reason they're calling it a submersible aircraft carrier is because when it actually hits someone and leaks and actually starts to sink, they can say they're submersing it. You know,
Oh my god.
Well, no, I mean, okay, so you rise above the water, and then you have to use those giant elevator things to bring the aircraft up. Then you have to attach the wire and launch the aircraft, right? Because they launch them with this fucking
Okay. How long do you think that takes?
5 minutes. No, quicker than that.
They can freaking launch freaking aircraft in less than a minute.
That's elevator. That's attaching cable,
All
and
you got to do is
full
open the
launch.
damn elevator doors.
True.
It
Think
takes,
about it.
it takes a minute for the lift to lift it up above deck, right?
Not if it's already waiting there to go. The ones below it are down. As you sit up there and say, surface. Everything all that functionality is in the process.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a one by one action. It's a multitude of actions going on at once. So it's
Yes.
just go.
yeah, but that could have interesting consequences if someone gets up sleepy some morning, hits the open button.
Well, I think there's ways to prevent that.
Not in Hawaii. I mean, alert!
What do you mean
You're
not in
being
Hawaii?
nuked. Alert! Come on now. Like, this is one asshole just hit
That's
the wrong
what
button
happens
on
when you
the
put
keyboard.
civilians in charge of something the military should be in charge of.
The military shouldn't be in charge of domestic.
And there's
alerts.
your problem. I don't want the military in charge. They're a bunch of dumbasses. They don't know how to do anything.
Did I say that? I said that should
You
be a
just now
civilian.
say you didn't want the military in charge of this.
I didn't call them dumbasses. There's a reason, because there's a separation of powers, and the military shouldn't be issuing the alerts. The military should contact the civilian authorities who should issue the alert.
Yeah, because that's so much more efficient.
Yeah, I was going to say, aren't the civilian authorities kind of, I don't know, incompetent?
Wait, no, so now you're calling civilians a bunch of dumbasses.
Yeah.
Yes!
Kind of.
Let me say it again, in case I stuttered. Yes, most of the civilians are incompetent. Next.
I mean, look at this logic, right? So let's say MC's in the fucking military. He gets a fucking alert that something's fucking inbound. He shoots over to the civilians. Now the fucking civilians have to deal with the bureaucracy of, do I actually push a button? Do I not? Like, so the delay in time with the military, it's, well, you could fucking act upon really your own better fucking instinct. Take the repercussion later if it was a fucking negative threat, or it wasn't really a fucking threat.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, Ace of Skulls, but if MC wouldn't be the one watching the inbound missile, he'd have been the fucker who fired it.
Yeah,
Hold my
MC is
beer.
all about preemptive assaults. I guess him and Kavanaugh have a lot in common on that one. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
Ouch. Damn.
One more reason to go get the rocks.
Yeah. You're aiming for the fucking border of California and Oregon at
Oregon
this point, huh?
2030. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Oh shit! No. 40 gets the rock too. Like, fuck that shit. Like,
I can't be the only one catching rocks.
Oh, I see what it is. It used to be Oregon 2020. MC had to delay it another 10 years.
No, it's always been Oregon 2030.
Oh, has it? Oh shit, I thought it was Oregon
yeah,
2020.
He's gonna let me be president first. That way I could put him in charge of the rocks. He's got a plan here.
Man, I've been living it up thinking I only had 2 years.
I hate to tell you, 40, but you do. It is still California after all.
Yes.
Yeah, and when that letter voice sent you gets there, that's just pixie sticks in the envelope. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Have you learned how to process ricin?
No, and I'm not doing that Google search. I don't feel like having a visit from the FBI. I'll pass.
Hey Matt, how do you make chlorine gas? Can you look that up for me?
No.
Yeah.
Easy. God, I'm
And Jensen goes, "Oh, it's easy. It's just."
No, I genuinely made that shit by accident. I mean, you know
Get
there's
it in
something
your
wrong
toilet?
as well.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Quote
Did you do it in your
unquote
toilet?
accident.
You can make it in your toilet very easily with household cleansers.
Oh, yeah. Funny enough, mine was in my bath, but, you know, similar enough. Same
Wait,
You
you,
did it in your
what?
bathroom.
What?
What the hell were you trying to clean out of your bathtub? Never mind.
Yeah, I was about to say,
he had a good. It was a good Thanksgiving that year. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I now know what Jensen's real job is.
All right, so look in here. All right. So Ecuador tells Assange to curb his speech and just look after his dumb cat. They don't want him saying anything politically that's gonna jeopardize Ecuador on the world stage. They have a point considering they are harboring him within their embassy, but isn't that kind of I don't know, condescending? Hey, how about instead of talking about politics, you watch your fucking cat? Like, is he not cleaning the litter box or something? What's going on here?
To be honest, he's probably too busy with Paula Henderson.
The entire Ecuadorian diplomatic corps are actually just there scraping up the mess the cat has left behind. That's the problem.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, it's like, okay, just look after your cat. That's a weird statement. Or were they trying to be funny or what?
They were basically saying, shut up, is what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. They shouldn't have... If they don't want to deal with the guy, they shouldn't have taken him in the first place, to be honest. This was... it was not a good decision in the long run for them.
Well, are there just cops hanging out outside 24/7 just waiting on him to finally leave?
Yes.
Probably, yeah. If I was a betting man, I'd say yes.
Can't he climb out the bathroom window or something? Like, I don't know. Isn't there a way out?
No, there's probably a camera in the bathroom too. They're probably watching him all the time. If I was a betting man, I would say every single major nation, like the Five Eyes, they probably have like constant surveillance on the embassy, to be honest.
So the dude put himself in prison pretty much to stay out of prison.
Yeah.
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 That's stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
He'd probably be out by now. How many years has he been in this fucking embassy? Like, the dude he probably needs some vitamin D, yo. Like, what the fuck's going on?
I actually think that I don't think I think he'd probably still be in jail. Like, hypothetically, if he turned himself in as soon as he did his naughty boy stuff. Like, to be honest, it's probably best that he just stay in the embassy. I mean,
I'm a bit confused about you guys thinking he'd make it to jail. That dude would get Diane pretty much 10 steps outside the freaking door, and we know that's true. Isn't that right, MC?
Oh, he said be right back, so he's not back yet. But
yeah, no. If he were to get out of that embassy, he would get scooped up by one of the big intelligence agencies, and you wouldn't really hear from him again. Just that's how it goes with those sort of things. Like, why do you think nobody really hears from fucking Snowden? Because he's still trying to fucking dip and dodge shit. If they scoop his ass up, he's fucked.
Oh, dude, I got a tip for you then. Somebody, a family member, is running a Twitter page for Edward Snowden. And I follow it there, and he actually gets the word out to whoever this is. I think it's probably his parents, and they post shit on there all the time. Like, there was a petition to get him freed, to have President Trump sign a pardon and stuff like that. So I do hear some stuff from Edward Snowden. His thing is, or not Edward Snowden. I'm talking about the fucking other guy. Never mind. The fucking deep web guy. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the deep web guy, the guy that made Pirate Bay or whatever. Not Pirate Bay, but
Silk Road.
Silk Road. Yeah, I'm talking about that guy.
Yeah,
I had him confused with Edward Snowden. My apologies.
Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yes, Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah, I follow him on Twitter. I think it's his mom that posts for him. It's not Edward Snowden. But Edward Snowden's deep in Russia, right? Like, he's being held by them.
Yeah. I'm not sure that he's in Russia anymore, but he claimed asylum in Russia.
Yeah, I mean, officially he's in Russia, but I don't know. I personally think that he's still in Russia. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure the Russian government has him in their clutches. So he's pretty much fucked either way.
40, what are your thoughts on Snowden compared to Chelsea Manning?
To be honest, I don't give a fuck about Chelsea Manning. Probably should have stayed in jail.
Bradley Manning.
To be honest. Or Bradley Manning, whatever the fuck its name is. Snowden, I agree on the moral grounds that what he exposed was wrongdoing. However, there is an official path for people to go down if there is some kind of gross moral violation, and he didn't go down that path. If he used the official route, I would have totally supported him, but, you know, exposing our deep, dark secrets, however deep and dark, to the enemy is not something you want to do. It's not very great for national sovereignty.
I agree with Snowden 100% on like 40, and that's on my morals, which is the government's not allowed to dragnet your surveillance, surveil you without.
If that's all he outed, that'd be one thing, but it isn't MADDS, is it?
Yeah,
right. There's other information that he outed.
Okay, and so you support him in that regard as well. You said you support him 100%, right?
I guess I'll back down a little bit. I'll say 70. Fuck you, MC. You're back? I thought you were gone. Go get another glass of water. I thought I could get those fucking comments out without you. God damn it.
Oh, and I will... Okay. MC, go ahead. I saw you unmuted yourself.
No, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button.
No, I was just going to say, when it comes to Snowden, I could see why he did it in a sense... in that way, because of the fact of, you know, Obama's fucking administration, they said that they were all about whistleblowers and whatnot. And we saw how that actually was completely fucking opposite. So in one sense, I could see it, but could he have gone about it in better fucking ways? Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't...
what's other information that he outed? Because all that I really read about was what on domestic surveillance. So what's the other information, MC?
He took all the freaking techniques that we were using for surveillance on our foreign enemies, such as China. He had all that data.
And if I remember correctly, I can't remember. It might be Snowden, but then he actually he released a bunch of information regarding some of.
Hey, Straight Sith, don't mute him. He's the co-host. Unmute yourself, 40.
Why was I muted?
Oh, Straight Sith. I think he thought you were cutting off MC, but you weren't. So go ahead.
Oh. Wait, was I?
No, you weren't. And I just told him to cut it out. Yeah.
Oh,
no muting around here unless there's bad background noise. That's the only time I mute people. But go ahead. You were at the point where you were saying a list of something.
Oh, I don't know if I'm misremembering or getting Stone confused with someone else, but I believe he did leak the names of some intelligence operatives, some assets as well, which is not very good.
Yeah, and I thought Bradley Manning was the guy that deserted or whatever. Or did he leak some shit too? Or is that what happened?
Yeah, Bradley was leaking all sorts of stuff out of the State Department. He's leaking the State Department cables. And then that included the names of many of the tribal chieftains that we were working with and got them executed.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Really?
What kind of personally pisses me off about that is that dude had the same fucking MOS as me. It's like, God damn it, why are you bastardizing my fucking MOS?
That sucks, man. I'm sorry.
Dodge, I'm sorry, my phone was fucking with me.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes total sense then. I was going to say, you've been on enough times. You know not to mute people, especially 40. Like, come on now. But yeah, your phone was messing up. I get it. It's all good. Who was the guy that fucking was a deserter then that I'm thinking of that was arrested and tried to get a pardon?
Crap, let me look this up, because it happened in Afghanistan, correct?
Yes.
I believe so, yeah.
Yes. How the fuck do you spell Afghanistan? What has an H in it?
Joey Bergdahl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bo Bergdahl, that's right.
Bo Bergdahl.
Yeah.
Okay, is he still locked up in a military prison or what?
No, I remember this actually.
Well, he got out.
Obama actually ended up giving the order to trade him for actually some top Al Qaeda leaders, and especially there were people who were skilled in making explosive devices as well. So we basically traded fucking Bo Bergdahl for some top quality terrorists, which I don't know what the hell you would do. I'd just leave the guy personally.
No, we got him in exchange for giving them back these terrorists.
Yeah. Did I not say that?
Well, the way it made it sound was the other way around.
Oh, no.
Personally, I would have no problem giving Bo Bergdahl back to them. For several of their top operatives, it would be very helpful.
Well, I know the military has, the idea of never leave a man behind, but if he was a deserter, in the old days, you just got shot. So why would you trade terrorists for a deserter?
Deserters are still punishable by death, according to UCMJ.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. If you actually charge them with desertion, just
but-
charge them with AWOL.
Yeah, I was going to say a good 99.99998% of the time they only go for AWOL, not desertion.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be hard, especially during like a military tribunal or something like that. It's going to be really hard to try and convince the person, judging your case that this was, just simple AWOL. I don't think this is a defensible action.
Oh,
Shows you how political these assholes have become now, doesn't it?
It's very true.
With the Bergdahl case, there was a lot of members in his unit who actually spoke out saying that he left all of his fucking gear behind. He just went off the fucking fob. He went out, fucking was, kind of doing his own thing. They sent out search missions for them. I think some people actually may have lost their life looking for him too. So, I mean, that's a pretty... you could argue a pretty good case for desertion at that point.
Mm-hmm.
He was a deserter. He did it intentionally, and he did it to give them information. He did it completely to support them. He's a freaking traitor, and he should have been shot.
Yep.
Was there ever any justification regarding his motives as to why he just wandered off the base one day and decided to go coerce with the enemy?
Well, he was upset that some of the people, the things that he was seeing, supposedly, were just so bad. You know, that they were letting, you know, the Afghans that were on our side, you know, do terrible things to the native population, and he couldn't stand for that. That's what he used to trial.
He's basically fucking George Soros Jr.
I just want to throw it out here, you know, CIA plant. You want to put someone in with the enemy, you know, make a soldier go AWOL. I'm just saying, it's a possibility.
They did treat him that way. They did beat him up. They did put him in a cage. He did lose a lot of weight. They treated him like he was a CIA plant, but I personally think he was just a freaking moron. I don't think he was a CIA plant. I think he was an absolute moron and should have been deserved to be shot. And if he is a CIA plant, oh well, one less CIA agent we got to worry about. So we kill one of ours. It happens. Next.
I just want to say to any intelligence agencies listening, I do not agree with AMC in any way, shape, or form.
I'm not a fan of the CIA. I'll just put it that way.
We never would have guessed.
Careful.
Did they steal your cookies?
Which is another reason why I don't like frickin' Snowden, because a bunch of his frickin' commentary about why he did this was because, well, when I was, you know, helping the CIA as a contractor, they were doing dirty pool stuff, and they were setting up, you know, like businessmen in Europe, and I didn't like it.
Hold it, sorry, just one sec. Are you trying to tell me there are people out there in the world nowadays that actually think the CIA are doing good for the world and they're not a bunch of devious, money-grabbing scumbags? Please tell me where they live, because I've got this bridge in London I would love to sell them.
Well, one lives in Russia. You might want to go to Moscow and see if you can find him. His name's Eric. If you look for him.
You guys are gonna end up getting JFK'd so fucking quick.
I have no doubt about it. But no, seriously, come think about it. You know, what is the deal with these fucking idiots listening to the CIA and FBI are somewhat credible? How?
Well, I mean, they were until, you know, they decided to not side with the Democrats. So, I mean,
MK Ultra. That's just one thing I can say about it. MK Ultra.
nah, that was just a bad after party, man. That was nothing.
I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you. No, you don't progress your soldiers without testing on them. You want to make a better soldier, you have to put them through some rigors.
Yeah, man.
You might lose
Not in today's society. That's called hazing. We don't want to do that. It might hurt their fees.
I thought that was just basic training.
Over here we call it beasting. It's just as bad.
Where were the good old days, MC, when your drill instructor could still beat you with a stick?
With a stick? No. Go straight fucking fist to cuff, man.
Most of the drill sergeants or drill instructors would take things into their own hands if you got uppity. And the other drill instructors would be around to make sure that the witnesses were just understanding this was just wall-to-wall counseling going on. That's what it used to be like.
Yeah. It's gotten so bad where they can't swear in basic training because it might offend somebody. People fucking have their cell phones at night and shit. It's like, what? No. Are you fucking retarded? Like, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I actually, I can't remember the name of the damn video I did, but it was actually a video about West Point. It was when that communist guy was showing his Che Guevara shirt, or however you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
at his West Point graduation. And I got super curious and I decided to actually look into that. And man, West Point is fucking shit. West Point's awful. I would never send my child there anymore. Apparently, like, the standards for graduation have been lowered drastically.
But
Disciplinary.
They're still far above what they are for the regular populace.
No, that's true, but it's just like relative to like 15, 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, no, there's no night. It's night and day.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to some of the cases that like for disciplinary actions, like one student got caught forging papers, and they practically did nothing. They just had her rewrite a few like passages, and that was it. And they just fucking
It's almost
passed
like we're acting like we're the Air Force Academy.
her. Yeah. God damn it! My fucking dad went to Air Force Academy. Fuck you, man. But
Really, the
Which explains
pronunciation,
another aspect of 40 ounce today.
the pronunciation is Guanabara.
Guanabara. But yeah, I mean, it's so sad. Like, if you actually look at West Point, you actually kind of look into it and you read some of the articles from like Military Times or something. It's like it's becoming UCLA-ified. If that makes sense. It's really sad, man.
That's bad.
Yeah, and this. Sorry, Jensen, go ahead.
No,
That's really bad, man. These are the people that are supposed to be here to protect your country. Honestly, what the fuck?
Wait, what are we doing to our armed forces?
I can tell you this is how we're going to lose, because we won't have soldiers that have any backbone or able to deal with the real world, and the Middle East will crush us, and then Asia will crush them and us, and then we'll all be speaking Chinese 20 years from now.
well, here, like, I actually currently live on a military base. And, like, from what I know, being in the military prior to, and, like, living here now, I walk around and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, you fucking are always whining and crying about different fucking small punishments. Little fucking shit. Like, when you fucking go overseas, you are not going to be able to fucking handle your goddamn selves. Like, it kind of makes me fucking sad and piss off.
It's not punishment, it's extra duty. Come on now.
Like, you don't need that pay. No.
Yeah, that dastardly hazard pay. Gosh, wouldn't be wanna making those big bucks. Absolutely not.
No, they've made a lot of mistakes with this whole sensitivity training bullshit that they instituted. And those of us that were around when they first started instituting it warned them and said, look, this is a massive mistake. And they just ignored us. It's like, this is what we're told to do, so this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. Well, you can do it, but you can do it a better way than this. No, we got to do it this way.
Yeah.
Well, MC, we grew up in a different time, bro. And you're older than me. I know you are a little bit, but we grew up in a time where men were men, and this is fucking nonsense. All this trophies for participation. Fuck off.
But the Aces got it right. I mean, this is just ridiculous. This crap that goes on. It just is. It's just nonsense. And you pointed out to certain individuals, the people that get promoted to some of the highest levels are getting promoted there strictly not on their ability, but strictly on how clean they are in whatever frickin' political circle that they happen to be swimming in at the time. It's really reduced the forces to a very, very poor readiness level in a lot of ways. Now you got people like MADDS that want to bring a lot of that back, but he's swimming against the entire cultural stream of pollution that has been created around it. And unfortunately, it's a long, hard slog to get it back to at least reasonable levels. And if we have to end up going to war, all right, you go to war with the army you have, not with the army you want. You go to war with the troops you have, not the troops you want to have.
Are we compromising on our military readiness?
Kind of.
Kind of?
Like, this is how ridiculous it's gotten with fucking the military and sensitive training and whatnot. Like, when I was in, let's say MC fucking, comes up to me and something on his uniform is fucked up. I would just go, hey man, let me fix your name tape real quick, or let me fix this on you. Your fucking rank's a little fucking crooked. Now, if he fucking walks up, I go, hey, I'm gonna touch you. Is that okay?
What? No, I thought you just yelled at another person in the military if their uniform was fucked up.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can tell them how to fuck themselves.
No, I know at least in the Marine Corps, my cousin told me, he's like, dude, if anything on your uniform or anything was like fucked up, dude, the officer or whoever was higher rank, it would give you shit.
Right. So what happens, of course, is that those of us that were in the lower ranks at that point would check each other over, all right, to try and make sure you were squared away before an officer ever saw you. Nowadays, they just walk around as just freaking cretins. It's unbelievable. I jumped on a guy who was walking around with his hat in his hand, just talking, waving around, having a good old time out in the middle of a quad. I said, hey, get your cap on. What the hell's wrong with you? A lieutenant who saw it came up to me and go, can't really yell at the soldiers. It puts too much stress on them.
What?
And I said, puts too much stress on them as opposed to what? Bullets flying at them? What the hell is that?
Is that person have the potential to be deployed in a combat zone?
Everyone has a potential to be deployed in a combat zone.
I think we need to prepare folks because here's the thing. Like I'm all for like being nice to everybody and everything, but when it comes to the military, for the folks that volunteer there, dude, you gotta. I'm sorry, you don't compromise. You set the standards. You go forward with it. Because if you're going to have the most badass fighting force in the world, you don't fuck around. I understand. Yeah, there might be problems, but you work forward to solve those problems within a military structure that makes sense. So you're not compromising.
Yeah, and that's fucking goddamn Skippy.
Yeah, but it's like some of the problems that they're bringing to people's attention are these really minute problems that you would see at like Berkeley or something. It's like, oh my gosh, MC's yelling at me because my bray is not on properly or something.
Dude, MC yells at me like every night. No. If you're signing up for the military, dude, you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. And I'll be straight up, dude. I was too much of a pussy to actually join. I visited the recruiter a couple of times, kept making excuses and everything. I wanted to be a tank commander back in the day. Hey, didn't fucking happen. I didn't step up for it. I mean, hey, maybe I wouldn't be here and shit because that's the risk you take when you sign up. But it's no, you do not compromise when it comes to it. You have a set goal for the mission. It is up to the officers and the brass to figure out how to accomplish said mission.
I have an idea, and I'm just throwing it out there. How about we start putting large doses of adrenaline and ketamine in their food?
Have you watched that scene in Starship Troopers? Yeah, let's avoid that scene.
What scene?
You know the scene.
I don't know the scene you're talking about, son.
Somebody gets a little too excited and ends up costing some.
The scene where you're referring to the scene where he accidentally shoots the guy's head in training?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's what.
Well, that was just training, and we now know that guy who died wouldn't have lived if he had went out in the war. So it's better to have him die here than halfway around the world.
Agreed. Sorry to say, agreed. That guy would have put the rest of his team in danger. It's better to get rid of him somewhere where it's less of a problem. Sorry if that's hard.
The guy getting shot in the head?
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry, but I want the soldiers defending my country to be just one level below psychopath.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that might be another discussion. No, you need to know what you're working with. If that's too much randomness in there, it's difficult to account for.
No, if I tell them to clear the village, I want the village cleared.
Works for me.
Everything. Cats included.
There's nothing wrong with clearing the village.
Well, assuming there's only entrenched insurgents or whatnot there, we have Moabs.
I'll tell you like
your solution is to go back to my beginning solution, which is bring in the rock.
Yes.
No,
Yes,
avoid the rocks. Genocide is bad.
We need to
You just
the Rock
said there
Johnson.
specified that we go in there with Moabs. I'm just doing it with a single rock.
Yeah, you're going 30,000 miles per hour at a freaking kilometer. What? Yeah, it's not good.
Why is it not good? It
Okay.
gets the job done, doesn't it?
Moving it forward a little bit, let's go ahead and bash on Clinton for a while. She did a interview with NBC, I believe, it might be CBS, where she defended her husband over the Monica Lewinsky scandal again, circa Me Too 2018.
Not just that bitch fucking said that we can't have civility until we win. That means straight up, these motherfuckers, they lost power.
Mm-hmm.
They want it back, and they're going to do anything necessary to get it back. Continue, Dodge. Sorry.
No, I was pretty much done. I wanted to get MC's take on her defending her husband over a woman in the new Me Too movement type atmosphere that's permeating.
Are you telling me that I'm supposed to be shocked and surprised that she's not going to defend her husband the same way she defended her
No,
husband?
I'm not. I'm not saying you should be shocked or surprised. I wanted to hear you rant for a minute about how much of a hypocrite piece of shit she is. So I was baiting you, but now I just out and said it. So go ahead.
This person sit up there and made her comment, all right, about, oh, no, when she was asked specifically, well, didn't your husband sit up there and abuse his power and authority? No, he didn't abuse his power and authority. Apparently, it's okay for Bill Clinton not to. This is perfectly legitimate for him to sit up there and tell people to lie under oath, all right, and make sure that the people who are talking to you lie under oath, and that there's recordings of these people saying this. And what's more is if somebody tries to break ranks, we're going to out them by taking their secret files and releasing them to the press to talk about how bad they are and do every kind of character assassination that we can, because we believe women.
But he played a saxophone.
Goddamn it, memes.
Flowing. Oh, look.
Don't forget,
No.
he never inhaled.
No, maybe he was a bar.
Yeah, that's right. He tried marijuana twice and never inhaled. I forgot about that part as well.
Hey,
Okay, wait. Okay. Why would you try it the second time if you didn't inhale the first?
well, hold on. You guys are missing the point. In all fairness,
This
no, hold on.
This is how we got into this position in the first place. Gotta be fair. Don't you understand? He's the savior of the world. I'll give him a blowjob in office if he keeps abortion legal.
I have to say,
Wolf.
MC, that was a great memes impression.
What?
James, you offered Clinton a blowjob in the 90s? What the fuck?
Oh, hold on.
Well, I did vote for him.
In all
Dig that hole a
fairness,
little deeper, Beebs. Dig that hole a little deeper.
in all fairness, we've all seen Elon Musk. You can smoke marijuana and not inhale.
Oh, I know that. Like, dude, I was smoking a bowl while I watched that video, by the way, and I'm like, that's not how. That's not how any of this works.
Where is the pot?
The funny thing is the face that Elon Musk was making, I've seen Bill Clinton make a lot recently.
Oh, well, that's medical marijuana. It's okay. He inhales that.
No, I smoke weed illegally.
Oh yeah, it's still illegal in New Mexico, huh?
Cool,
Yeah.
man. What's your local police department phone number?
That's fun.
We're not haunting him.
This is his local police department is still trying to figure out what to do about the freaking compound that they destroyed, looking for the evidence against the terrorist group. You know, the one where they killed their own son. We don't know.
Forty.
You know,
That wasn't very nice of you to threaten that there with calling the local police. You know,
No,
he doesn't want to
no,
get
I like
reported
to
again.
give Dodge shit because he loves Gary Johnson. So I like to give Dodge a little bit of shit about that.
I
No,
still
but
think
seriously, I
Gary
can't find my
Johnson's...
fucking. I can't
Beans,
find my
don't dig
weed
yourself
in
into
my.
a deeper hole.
No. Did you guys see the video of Gary Johnson where they were asking him about marijuana, and all of a sudden he just takes a quick pause and then just like spazzes out and falls to the floor?
Oh god.
Yeah, no, that was funny. That wasn't the tongue thing, which was weird, or what is Aleppo.
No, it was a great troll. It was kind
Yeah,
of weird for a presidential candidate to do it, but it was a great troll.
Well, yeah, I thought that was
was-
funny because that's harking back to, you know, the reefer madness bullshit.
It was
And that's what he was
stupid for
trying.
a presidential candidate to do.
It was.
And he paid
No,
the price
dude.
politically.
If I run for president in 2020, I'm just gonna come out with my own hit video on myself and be like, "This is everything I've done in my life."
Well,
Now
no,
they can't
no.
make shit about me, right? Now
No,
I can just go ahead
MD,
and,
MD. All you got to do is get Jim to make a video of you, and there's more than enough evidence on the Redeye.
Yeah.
No, I'm not kicking that beehive ever. That
I know MD's real name. I'm not gonna say it, but my real name is Willie.
His real name is Patrick. Patrick Little. He's going
Wait.
to out the Jews.
Yeah, it's definitely Patrick. Definitely Patrick.
Hold on, wait. So are you one-eyed Willie?
Yes, I am.
God damn it.
All right, I'm not going to touch your treasure.
Okay.
It's yours.
real quick, Ace, what are you talking about there in the side chat? Go ahead and say that out loud and elaborate a little bit.
Oh, like all this stupid shit, like so fucking the whole ICE thing back when it was fucking goddamn, I forget the other name that they went by, but Alien Gonzalez. Like people forget that about Clinton, the shitstorm that fucking came with that, and like people want to talk.
Well,
about,
that's because it was coming on the heels where he burned an entire village of freaking children. I mean, good God, he let one live.
Wait, what?
Names you don't remember? Alien Gonzalez.
No, I remember Alien Gonzalez. I remember the picture. You got a little kid being dragged out with frickin' dudes loaded up with frickin' assault rifles.
yeah,
Right? That was fucking bullshit.
just
This was
the whole-
coming- And this was coming on the heels of Waco.
Communist country. Sorry. Continue.
Dude, imagine if that happened under President Trump.
and that's kind of where I was going with the whole abuse of power. People would flip the fuck out about it. Oh, it's abuse of power. Look what he's trying to do with immigration, blah, blah, blah. But when Clinton fucking does something like that, no, don't mind it. No, just don't pay attention. We're good.
No,
Yeah,
dude,
this
he did
is-
a lot
this
of
is
shit.
not
That
the-
was horrible.
This is not the scandal you're looking for.
To a large
No,
extent, that's exactly how they treated it, and that's how they'll treat it again.
Well, the pendulum will swing back. The Democrats will get back in office eventually, unless they rip their own party apart by the seams, which it looks like they will be doing. And speaking of Democrats, I have another story. A lot of Democratic leaders are coming out today saying they're worried that the Republicans will be able to stop the blue wave, that it's not going to happen. It's going to be like 2016.
Oh, did they just catch on to that?
Yeah, they're just now catching up with the program. How worried are they?
They're not. These are people that live in a bubble. They don't believe it. The vast majority of them live in their own little bubble. They believe the press that is telling them that there's a major blue wave coming, that everybody hates Trump. The Rasmussen poll that shows Trump's popularity at 51% right now is an outlier, and therefore, they're just ignoring it because that's obviously a right-wing organization, even though Rasmussen has never really been right-wing in their entire, polling methodology. They don't believe it. They
That's
live
dangerous,
in a freaking bubble.
though. Dude,
What do you mean
that's
it's
how
dangerous?
that's how President Trump pretty much got elected. Because I mean, most of the press is saying, "Oh, Hillary Clinton's going to win. She's got it in the bag." A lot of folks that would have voted for her, they're like, "I don't feel like sitting in a line. I'm going to go to Taco
changed?
Bell."
Have they changed? Have you seen them change
Well, I
anything?
mean, dude, people will be pissed then, dude. And that's the thing. Like, if the media is contributing to this, like, dude, just like have as
If
much
the
accuracy as you
media
can.
is contributing to this. If
Yes.
Fellas,
you're going to go
what
back
happened?
to the if.
What happened was the media did not care about what we thought at all. I'm talking about the American people. They didn't give a shit about what we thought. And they're going to continue this nonsense, MC, over and over. And you know how it works, man.
No, I do.
That's
Right.
really all I have to say about that.
Well, no, I'm wondering if they're actually coming out now and saying, "Hey, we're a little bit worried." that means it's way worse in their personal polls than it is on the national, the news networks.
All right, I'm going to talk about this right now. First of all, we have no idea what's going to happen come November. All right. I will say this. Right. There's no way that the Democrats were going to ever take the Senate. I don't know where that fevered pipe dream ever came about. The demographics were such that there was no way that they were going to do that unless somebody killed half of the Republicans that were up for re-election. Okay. Now, I'm pretty safe in saying that now because I don't think they'll actually act on that at this point in time. All right. But when it comes to the House and what's going to happen in the House, okay, what was truly different about this election in comparison to other midterm elections is both parties were pushing to nationalize the election to try and make it a referendum on Trump. Personally, I don't know if either party really succeeded. All right, because politics in the matter of midterms tends to be very local. Now, the question still remains, all right, with this last election, as bad as the polling was, is that going to hold true this time as well? It's the $10,000 question, and nobody knows. Part of the problem that these media people have, the true media people that are trying to do the right thing, right, is, okay, they know that there was a problem in their polling methodology. They don't necessarily know what it is. They don't know if they fixed it. They don't know if it's just a demographic shift that they no longer can pay attention to, or if this is just a one-off, and sometimes they're wrong. They don't know the answer to that. So I suspect in this case that they haven't changed their polling methodology at all, that they're just using the same kind of methodology more or less that they've always been doing. And the reason I say that is because whenever they issue the actual numbers for the polls, they're oversampling Democrats. This is something that they've always done. That hasn't changed. Okay, so it looks to me as if they're using the same policies. Now, the question is that going to be, how is that going to play out? Is it going to have the same problems? I can see anything happening. When they talk about this election being wide open, I truly do believe it's wide open because we don't know what's going to happen until we count the votes. That's how I feel about it. I'm not like Sticks saying, well, no. It's pretty iffy if Democrats even take the House. Or H.A. Goodman, who says there's no way that the Democrats can take the House. I still think that the Democrats have a chance of taking the House. Will they? I don't know, because I don't know what to rely on anymore. There's nothing out there you can point to and say, I can trust this group over that group because their polling has been significantly better. We've only got a single sample to know, okay, was this an outlier or not? And that's what we're going to find out in this election more than anything else.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And the way it's so wide open, too, I'm hoping the third party can pick up some stuff. I've been reading through my voters pamphlet. I got it yesterday, or not yesterday, but Saturday in the mail.
You know how many people will be in federal office from the Libertarian Party after this election, Pete?
Oh, will you knock it off?
Zero. Okay.
You knock it off. I'm talking about the local areas in Oregon. I'm talking about the Oregon election.
Yeah, and when the Oregon election is done, you know how many people be elected to state office in there from the Libertarian Party? The same number that they have now.
We'll see. We'll see. You don't know until the votes are counted, sir.
That's true. You have a point.
But I don't think there's going to be this blue wave that they're talking about. I don't think the outrage over Trump is quite as much as they believe it is. I believe there's a lot of groups that are organized and pissed off and have loud voices, and that's about it. I think normal people that are being quiet about it are probably the Trump voters, and there's a lot of them.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility that that actually there turns into a red wave. I am firmly convinced that one thing that's very true, regardless of what else happens, the Republicans will pick up seats in the Senate, and I think it's at least 3, and I really expect there to be at least 4 and possibly 5.
How many senators are up for re-election this go around? Like, is Rand Paul
there's
running in Kentucky right now?
There's 33 33 up for re-election at any point in time. All right. Sometimes it's 34 because 1/3 of the Senate is voted on every 2 years. All right. So you only have 1/3 of the Senate being voted on. So there's, of course, 100 senators. Divide that by 3, you get 33 point something, and point of a person doesn't count. So at one point there's 34, but in this one there's 33. Of the 33 senators up for re-election this time, 21 or 22 of them are Democrats.
Ouch.
That's why I said at the very beginning, and when they first started looking at this, the election coming up, there were people that were saying, "Oh no, the Democrats only have to flip 1 or 2. You know, they've got a good chance of taking the Senate." And I wrote back, going, "You're out of your freaking mind. They have no chance of taking the Senate. Absolutely none. They got too many seats to defend versus how many that they got to turn over. The Republicans can easily defend this in comparison."
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the Democrats aren't looking so good right now. Their party is infighting. I mean, I don't know. It's just, it doesn't seem like their year. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if it's going to help out America, it shouldn't be their entire decade.
Well, I think they're going to fall apart soon. I know the Democratic Party is one of the oldest parties in the United States, but I think they're going to end up breaking apart here soon. They're going to go the way of the Whig Party.
Possibility, but the way the press is preventing that right now, I don't know. That's the other question, is just how much power does the press still have?
I believe that power is fading if you look at the demographics actually watching them. But the fact that younger people are becoming more political also, I don't know. And this generation seems to lean right heavily.
Well, in comparison to the other ones, yeah, it's more right-leaning. But as far as, are they really going to vote? So far, they didn't show up last election. The youth vote didn't show up last election, like it or not.
Yeah, no, and I'm looking at the chat, and Tema said, Republicans turn out more for midterm elections than Dems, historically speaking. If there's no presidential election, then the Dems tend to not turn out. Is that because the Democrats are a younger demographic of voters?
I think it's more to do with the fact that I don't know if how accurate that assessment is. I do know that the party in charge, there tends to be a complacency of whichever party has the presidency, and under normal circumstances, there is a turnover to an extent of the other party winning in off-term elections. Right? The American people tend to basically vote for a gridlock, right? When it comes to off-term elections. But recently, that's becoming less reliable metric. Right? In 2012, for example, Republicans still, all right, increased their hold on the House. All right, that was a presidential election. Right. There was a massive turnover, obviously, in 2010, right? So that at least seemed to hold, but it's hard to say what's going to happen, right? What the final results of all this is going to actually be, right? We'll have to wait and see. I mean, at this point in time, everyone's handicapping the races, but everyone's handicapping it. Their calls are all over the place. Many of the people are just calling it one way or another, just so that they can try to be the first one to go out there. And if they're wrong, they know that they'll be ignored. And if they're right, they can always go back and go, look, see, I was first. I told you this was all going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. So I don't know if you guys really want to talk about this or not, but I thought it was kind of interesting. The Russian Orthodox Church breaks ties with the World Orthodox Church over Ukrainian clerics being independent from the Russian Orthodox Church from Moscow. So there's kind of a divide in the Orthodox Church going on right now. Do you think that divide's going to stay? And it's mainly over politics, it seems like. Ukrainian politics.
Were they getting tips from the Vatican on how to sit up there and molest little boys?
So you don't want to talk about this. All right. I'll find another story. because I'm not going down that route. God damn it. Oh, here's a funny one. So the cops had to lure a fucking pig the size of a mini horse back to its home with Doritos. So you got a picture here of a cop fucking luring a fucking giant ass pig down the street. It's pretty funny. So a pig leading a pig.
I'm sorry, but if I saw that pig, I'd turn that thing into food. What is their problem?
Yeah, it's in my Discord. Did you see that shit, Jensen? That thing is huge.
I would so enjoy that thing. I'm sorry, but here, piggy, piggy, bang, shoving back the truck.
You mean sport, don't you?
Hey, it was in America. Done. So it's like bang, shoving back a truck, drive off. They have pig food all round. Guarantee we're not going to get any muzzies there.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you just have a fucking pig cookout right there on the sidewalk. It'll be great.
Slow cooked pork. Yes, please.
So is that what you do? You should just spray pig blood everywhere and tell them it's not halal, so the muzzies stay away.
I neither confirm or deny that. I do have.
There's a fucking bacon circle around Jensen's flat.
Like I said, South London is safe. They won't come down here for some strange reason.
God damn. You ever go into the areas where they're at eating a BLT? Or
you know, I'm going to do that one day. I think I have to. It'd be funny as hell.
Yeah, you bring an extra one to offer to them. No, I'm going to get you killed. I should shut up.
No, you're just proving that I'm a very polite person who's willing to share their food. That's all.
But I don't know. I thought that was a fucking funny story. So, I mean, at least the cop...
At least the cop what?
Lure the pig back home. How did the cop have Doritos in the car? You're allowed to just carry food around with you as a cop, you know? You can just mow down on some Doritos in between bank robbery fucking calls, or what?
Possibly. I mean, it's boring driving around in those cars. With the little Cheeto hand on there, trying to rub it on his face. Look me, I'm the Cheeto Fuhrer.
Nice.
Yeah. I can just imagine, though. Here, piggy, throwing Doritos out. This thing's huge. Like, what if it wants the Doritos in the bag that you're holding, right? And the fucker charges you.
And it gets the Doritos with the bag. It's a simple thing. I mean, why is that a problem?
Like, that pig looks like he could fucking take out a linebacker. Like, the thing is huge. I'm going to copy the story and throw it in chat for people if they want to see the picture. Because, yeah, it's pretty funny. So, I don't know. It's not something we could really fucking banter on about for very long. I just thought it was really funny.
Now I got to try and find this. Where did you put this in chat? Oh, there it is. Oh, no, that's not that large. What are you talking about?
That's not that large. That pig's half the size of that woman.
That's a board, by the way. You wouldn't want its meat anyway because it's a bit gamey. But no, that's just an average size freaking boar. What are you talking about? I've seen them much bigger than that.
Okay, well, I mean, the size of a miniature horse. I mean, that's pretty fucking big. But miniature horses are miniature, so fair enough.
No. Take a look at it in comparison to the where her cruiser is. Right. I mean, this is not. I'm not saying that the thing is a dainty little waif, right? It's definitely not one of those little potbelly pigs that people get with pets, all right? But this looks like it's just a standard, farm boar more than anything else. I thought it was going to be huge. I mean, they can grow massive, right? This thing is probably only about 300 pounds. 300 pounds. We got some feedback.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're good now, Jensen.
Was I doing something weird? Sorry.
Oh, your microphone was doing that thing. Like, remember when we were before the show and I was like, do you have a fan going? It did that same sound again.
All right, gotcha. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine. But, all right. So what else do we got here? I think Ace threw something in here that he wanted to talk about.
Oh
Yeah.
no, it was just the whole F-16s while we were talking about it. I thought it was kind of fucking funny.
Yeah. Technician accidentally sets off an F-16 cannon and blows up another F-16. Okay, I thought we had the best military, MC. These zoomies, what the fuck's going on?
That's it. Zoomies. Okay, no. Okay, first of all, while they talk about this being a technician and all this other stuff, it's very possible that this is not an actual military. As far as I shouldn't say not actual military, but this is not active duty military. Most likely, this was National Guard, Air National Guard, that were working on it. And then even as here, it says that a Belgian technician actually set it off. So they were probably doing training, right? Here's how we work on the systems here. Yeah, that worked really well. Yes, you can see.
Yeah. He hits the fucking wrong button. Like, oh shit, I just lost my job. Like, I'm totally fired.
It's not even the U.S. military; it's Belgium military.
Yeah, see, so that's like, hey, look, the Germans showed me this.
Oh shit. Tema says her husband showed her a video last night of a car chase that led to a guy running into the tail of a parked F-18. It was crazy. That sounds crazy. Like, where was this car chase where he ran into a parked F-18? Was it a fucking military base? It had to be, right?
We're gonna have to figure this out. Runs into.
But Ace, yeah, no, like that's a funny ass story. But yeah, I mean, it's a Belgian technician, so okay, I guess training. But I mean, don't you like you bring somebody into this aircraft, right? It's fully loaded still, obviously, because the button worked. Wouldn't you point out, hey, man, don't hit this button right here? It fires the cannon,
right? Like most of the time, those buttons are big and red, and like so, like like don't touch a fucking red button. But no.
Oh, but red attracts people. It's like, oh, I gotta touch the red button. That's why you don't want me with my finger on the nukes. I'll be like, can't we just nuke France once? I mean, like, it's just one time.
Yes, Mark, I'm good with that one, man. Nuke Paris.
I don't know Paris. I mean, Paris is a historic city. Yeah, okay, we'll go with Paris.
Thank you.
Either that or Merkel's home. Just saying.
I tell you what, you can have 2 nukes as long as you put 1 on each. I think that's reasonable, don't you?
Yeah, Germany needs a good nuking. Get their act together.
I neither confirm or deny that the British government have considered such things.
Fucking Dade in the chat said something about I am Groot. Like, that is a perfect I am Groot moment.
Yeah. It is actually. It fits perfectly, doesn't it? I mean, honestly, don't press the shoot button. Really? I mean, I realise that you guys are obviously stupid, but for God's sake, don't press that button. What is wrong with these people?
Okay, I'm back. My wife was talking to me. She just got home a little bit ago. All right. So, wife, MC's looking for that video. Do I have any more stories in here? We covered them pretty quickly today. Oh, all right. Ohio haunted house slammed for performing alleged mock rape. All right. So yeah, this was a haunted house, and during one of the parts, as you walk through the house, there's a mock rape going on. Who would think that's a good idea? especially in the current political climate, is that really a good idea to have in your haunted house that you're opening up to kids?
Not the greatest of plans. I have to agree with you there. I mean, you kind of got to wonder about their intelligence, don't you?
Yeah, and it says the woman that did it, Sarah something, or Susan something. She's a horror enthusiast, and she wanted to go all out. Yeah, there's horror. You know, like we have the haunted corn maze over here. Okay, so one, it's a corn maze. Two, you're going through it at like 11 o'clock at night. Three, there's people jumping out of everywhere with fucking chainsaws and shit. So it's pretty cool. But there's no rape scene in the middle of the corn maze. You know what I mean?
In all fairness, in a lot of those corn mazes, you don't need a rape scene. You've probably actually got rape going on. Let's get blunt here.
Oh, no, I remember I was there with my ex, right? And her sister. And in the middle of the corn maze, there's this school bus, right? With all the doors open. And I'm like, let's go in there. And the girls are like, no, no, no. And then all of a sudden out of the bus, yes, come in here. I'm like, see? Like, it's a sign. Let's go. They refuse. But it sounded like fun. But that's how, like, haunted corn mazes or haunted houses should be. You shouldn't have a rape scene in the middle of them, right, guys? I mean, come on.
No, I completely agree with you, mate. That's flipping ridiculous. I mean, what were they thinking?
Okay, I think I found this thing. I'm going to put it in our side chat right here for the for this thing. It's a FLIR footage. Let me try that again because obviously it didn't take. Copy and go to Google Hangouts and click paste. There. If you want to take a look at the footage, it's right there. It's kind of interesting. What's bad is that you don't really. It's night footage, right, with a camera and everything, but you don't really see. You see them driving when it looks like they come close, and if they actually hit, you don't really see them do anything aside from the vehicle just veers to the right, and unfortunately, it's from the way it looks like from the after discussion, looks like the guys died from it. So, I mean, it's if you want to go to where the crash is, start around 9:55, and you can watch them as they drive into it.
Darwinism at work, right there.
So I don't know if this is just dead air or what it is. Are you able to listen to it, Mad Dodge?
I think his missus must be talking to him again.
Oh, okay. So I don't want to let too much dead air go on or anything with it. But have you watched it, Jensen? What do you think?
I don't necessarily actually have words for that because just the sheer levels of insanity for it, you know. But like I say, it's Darwinism at work. These people are not going to make that mistake ever again.
Well, it doesn't even look like if they hit it, it doesn't look like from the aircraft or from where you're watching. It doesn't look like it really did a lot of damage. But I was watching another from ABC News was doing a take on it, and they were interviewing them. And it sounds like at least two of the people that were in that vehicle died. Right. Yeah. So either they died hitting the aircraft, or they got out of the aircraft and they were conveniently found dead by the military police.
Yeah. Now, according to Atema and her husband, the passenger was decapitated, and apparently the tail section ripped through the windshield, decapitating the passenger. The driver later died of his injuries, and we've lost Mad.
Well, that's possible. That's possible. I can see it from the footage and stuff. But it didn't look like it did a whole lot of damage to that aircraft. It's pretty impressive when you think about it.
Actually, that is. You'd think that the airplane would get wrecked. No offense, but they're not actually that tough.
Well, apparently that tail section was tough enough to go right through that freaking vehicle.
What someone forgot to mention, it was recently added on from an A10 Warthog. That's what I'm...
It's possible, but I do remember you may remember this. Do you remember back in the 90s where that one U.S. Navy aircraft clipped that cable for one of those cable cars, all right, that go between mountains, right, for ski lifts and stuff. Yeah, well, the naval craft that hit that and killed those people, when that landed, the aircraft itself actually flew back to its base, and it just had a dent in the tail. It didn't bring that aircraft down.
Damn. Okay.
So.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I always think of planes as pretty soft. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that they've got armor and whatnot, but at the end of the day, they are basically very light craft designed to fly, so they're not going to be heavily armored. I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with some of what you would think that they would bring them out of the sky, you know, because they always seem, airframes always seem so fragile and so forth. We apologize for Mad Dodge. It looks like we're going to probably end up losing the stream here in a little bit, folks. We'll stay on for as long as the stream lets us. But no, it was when I saw the pictures of the craft and stuff. I mean, there's a good dent in it. Don't get me wrong, in that tail, there's a good dent in it. But the fact that it didn't just shear that in half and just bring that airframe down, I think it was like either an A6 or an A7 that did it, right? And of course, the pilot, they actually refused to release the pilot to the Italian authorities and actually flew him to the States for his trial because they didn't want him tried by the Europeans.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Well, a number of people died in that cable car. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, there's one thing about a cable car getting stuck on a cable car. There's another thing when you cut the cable and the cable car gets to plummet down the ravine and you're in it.
Express elevator to hell going down? Sorry, I know that was a bit nasty, but had to be said.
It's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop at the bottom.
Exactly.
Something to always remember.
Sorry, say again, mate.
It's something to always remember. It's not the fall that kills you. As long as if you can jump off a cliff and miss the earth, you're good.
Oh yeah, completely agree. What you need is a nice flock of sheep to land, nice and soft and springy.
I don't know. I don't know if that's quite gonna happen that way.
Oh, that's a shame. Maybe I should message RPR and tell him not to get on that cable car. Nah, well, he'll be fine.
Might be something worthwhile to talk about.
Oh God, yes.
Who would have known that pancake humans aren't a good thing?
Yeah, they said according to the list, there was 20 people that died in that cable car when it happened.
Damn. All jokes aside, that's still quite a large loss of life. So shit.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
I mean, could you imagine if like you were the one survivor and like all you did is you jumped, and since everybody else fucking got flattened, it kind of cushioned you? Like,
we're going for the Bugs Bunny technique. Is that what you're saying?
Nearly as stupid.